Japanese people of Reddit. What are some things people should know to do and not do before visiting Japan? Story 1 in sit-down restaurants. Wait staff don't wait on you like in the US. If you want more tea or whatever, you'll have to flag them down. Well, maybe not so much in touristy restaurants. When standing on the escalator in Tokyo, stand on the left. When standing on the escalator in Osaka, stand on the right. No tipping, no public trash cans. Edit, it's not literally that there's no public trash cans, but they can be few and far between. When on public transit, keep quiet and no eating. There's generally no eating, drinking on the streets when you're walking around, which is partly why there's no public trash cans. Don't close taxi doors by yourself. It's automatic, and they'll yell at you if you're looking for cheapish food. The basements of department stores have decent food courts. 7-11S are nice. Many places are cash only. I highly recommend getting a Suica card or Icoca card, depending when you're going for public transportation. They work almost everywhere all over the country, and they're good for 10 years after last use, so you can hang on to it if you plan to go back in the next decade. Offer your seat to an elderly person or pregnant woman while on public transit. A common place to buy event tickets, Disneyland concerts, not sure about sports events though, is at convenience stores. Outside shoes stay outside the house. If you have a tattoo, an onsen may deny you admission. Edit, onsen hot springs, have fun and enjoy your trip. Edit, thank you very much for the gold edit, you guys. We're internet famous in French. Shout out to Usurupte Arabe for finding this. Story 2, I'm not Japanese, but I've lived in Japan the majority of my life. Live in a Japanese household and work only with Japanese people. 1. Don't worry about eating and walking. It says this is bad in guidebooks, but nobody cares. 2. Do not talk loudly on the train. This is probably the thing that annoys Japanese people more than anything. In the train, you can talk, but for God's sake, don't speak loudly. Story 3, carry cash. They'll take cards, but it's unusual, and I've gotten looks for it. You can access international ATMs at 7-11 and the post offices. Just be polite. It gets you a long way, even if you don't know the language well. If you're gracious, it gets you a long way. Story 4, I saw some white dude at Shibuya crossing flaunting his headband with kamikaze written on it. Yeah, that. Always ask what the kanji means before buying stuff with kanji on it. Story 5, I am Japanese, and welcome everyone to visit. Don't be scared, we are now trying to be more tourist-friendly. The big mistake I see for make a disrupt order. We Japanese like lines and quiet. If everyone follow this system, it works better. B, forget turn off your cell phone. Ring notify. C, wear light clothes than you think. Sometimes even if temperature is okay, humidity is really bad. The big advice I have a bring small gift from your country. It will always start conversation. Can be very cheap, but good Japanese way to start. B, try a small local or family restaurant instead of business restaurant. Ask for their recommendation. Make them happy. You'll enjoy it more than your next McDonald's. Edit, sorry I fall asleep. Did not think this post be very popular. We'll try to reply. Sorry for late. Story 6, not Japanese, but went there a few years back and got a few tips from a family friend who was born and raised in Tokyo. There are a lot of vending machines. You are expected to consume whatever you buy and dispose of the can bag in the same place. Usually a small trash can for that purpose. Seats are hard to find at the busy spots. Most restaurants have either picture menus or little plastic versions of the food, so ordering is easy. If you eat at a place with a chef, sushi, yakitori, etc., compliment the chef. Some don't have set prices, so lavish praise may lower your bill, and it is just plain fun. When looking for sushi near the fish market, just look for the place with the line out the door. Doesn't matter which one, but the one with the line of locals is going to be the best. A few observations from being there, seats are rare to find. If you need to sit for a few minutes, look for an American fast food chain. You can get a drink, clear your head, and sit for a few minutes. People are amazing. We had one guy cross 6 lanes of traffic to help direct us to the Tokyo Museum. We had another get off a train and walk us through the right connections to get us to the bullet train we booked to Kyoto. As in, he rode 20 or 30 minutes out his way just to make sure we got there. Old people are grumpy, as they were like Florida retirees whose favorite buffet closed down. The contrast with everyone else being so very nice made this particularly entertaining. Ask before taking people's pictures. This is true everywhere, but people seemed particularly sensitive to this in Tokyo and Kyoto. You could just hold up the camera and smile, and ask the question with facial expressions. No need to learn the Japanese phrase. Almost everyone was fine with it, but a few refused. Don't take anything too seriously. Set out every day to get lost, to embarrass yourself with a local, to buy something silly, and to eat something of unknown origin. You'll have much better stories memories that way. Story 7, obligatory, not Japanese. Lived here for the majority of my life. However, if there's one thing to do in Japan, just be quiet. Pretend you're in a museum. You don't have to yell on the train. It also helps to have situational awareness. If you can avoid blocking the street aisle, you're already doing better than 90 of tourists and Japanese combined. Don't touch everything in shops, especially grocery stores. If you rent a bicycle or something, don't be an idiot on it. I don't recommend renting a bike if you're not from a bike-friendly place. Before you do something, ask yourself, would a mainland Chinese tourist or Logan Paul do this? If the answer is yes, don't do it. Story 8. Everyone was very nice and plenty of folks speak English. But I always felt like people warmed up even more because I took the time to learn literally 10 words of Japanese. A little effort goes a long way. Hello, goodbye. Then you very much, whereas check please, 1 through 10, etc. Also, I saved a ton of money by eating breakfasts at 7 to 11. Story 9. Sumimasen. Learn that word. Start every single sentence with it. It means sorry, excuse me. Use it when asking for directions as another way to say thank you. When entering a new place, if there's one word you need to learn, it's sumimasen. Story 10. Bring or buy a blank notebook. There are plenty of souvenir stamps at attractions train stations to collect, usually near the exit. It's great fun and lovely memento to have. Google Stamp Rally for more info. Story 11. White person living in Kyoto, etc., etc. Please don't take pictures of the Maiko without permission. You can always ask Shashin Kudasai. If they don't seem to be in a hurry, please don't bother the Maiko when they are in a hurry. Please don't grab the Maiko. There was a disappointing rash of this in the last few years. One poor girl had her kimono torn. Maiko are usually very young women, and it's appalling what some people will do. Maiko are a type of geisha. It can be seen in Gion. They're usually apprentices. Story 12. Not 100 Japanese, but 25 Japanese blah blah. But living in Japan, there will be some people who will compliment on your chopstick using ability and be like sugoi, hashi wa juzu bisu. While you're good at using chopsticks, don't get offended if you hear this, even if you've been using chopsticks ever since you were a 0-year child. Some of you little Japanese people have never seen a foreigner person ever seen a Japanese person use chopsticks. Instead of getting offended at that statement, use it as a starting point, start a conversation to bridge a gap formed from ignorance, and develop a relationship. You might create a friend and a karaoke partner. Story 13. Almost every English-speaking foreigner who lives in Japan permanently will think they are better than you, and every small thing about Japan that you enjoy they will hate, because they've seen it already. Story 14. This is going to sound very strange, and I'm not sure if you're a uterus owner or not, but bring enough tampon spads, whatever, and cramp medication if you take birth control, get extras from your doctor. It's really hard to find tampons in some foreign countries. And if you don't know the language, you might not know where they're stored. Also, pain meds are usually lower strength. Have fun. Edit, no, I'm not a TRF. I just said uterus owner because it sounds funny to me. I have personal experience on this matter, went to foreign country, and had to borrow from my fellow travelers, which sucked. Also, I personally noticed the meds were low strength. I was designated female as birth, and still live as that gender. No, I'm not a... Story 15. If you're going to Tokyo, then learn about the rail lines in advance. There are 2 main rail companies, and you can get to some destinations in several ways. In addition to that, make sure you check what time the train leaves from the airport. Last time I was in Japan, I rushed from customs to the luggage pickup, and then rushed to the Narita Express, and just got there in time, saving an hour wait. The last thing you want after a long trip is to wait an hour for a train that takes another hour to get to Tokyo. Story 16 for us in Australia. Not sure about other countries, but there's a thing called a Japan Rail Pass. Get it? It lets you use every train in Japan, not subways though. It might seem pricey, but trust me, this will pay for itself if you are doing any travel between towns on a bullet train. Vending machines are great for beer. 7-11S are great. Milk is hard to get. If you need coffee, vending machines, there are some really awesome cheap as noodle places everywhere. Be polite, they have English signage all over the place. When all else fails, many Japanese people speak basic English anyway. Get lost and just wander around. It's amazing what you might find. Some of the train carriages are female only. Didn't know that till it was too late. Those maid cafes are dodgy, and we went as a gimmick. It was just lame and sad. The train system is perfection. Just be in awe of it. Story 17. I'm an American, but stay out of the fish markets in Osaka or Tokyo, and not sure which, was drunk and long time ago at 2 a.m. unless you're specifically supposed to be there. Edit. I keep getting asked why. My friend was really into fishing, so we went to one. He was drunk, but not the shit-faced drunk. I had beer drink, but it had been long enough that it mostly wore off. Anyways, we were on the outskirts of it, and it was cool to see all of it, and no one stopped us, so we walked in further. The workers were pretty nice to us. Eventually, a cop came out of nowhere screaming at us and telling us to put our hands on our heads. Then he told us to sit on the ground and not move while he wanted to get backup or something. We didn't want to get arrested. A worker from there saw this all happen and told us to get on his trolley and head drive us out. We obliged. But at the same time, we were hiding from cops. as we drove our way through this labyrinth of seafood in the dark with unintelligible conversations and shouts. Story 18, not Japanese, but I visited Japan a few times. One thing I noticed specifically compared to the US was a lack of drinking fountains, so it's a good idea to carry a water bottle with you. Also, try some of the noodle restaurants. Sushi is the most well-known Japanese food, and it is delicious, but proper Japanese ramen is also great. And well, we're trying while you're over there at the popular lunch option. Story 19, you can drink alcohol outside. Enjoy the weather AMD, take a walk with your drink of choice. Go to the park as well. Do not do this when you get back home. Story 20, watch what you say when in public thinking that no one will understand what you're saying. A surprising number of Japanese people understand spoken English, while a whole lot don't. But how can you tell which category those around you fall into? Story 21, not Japanese, but been here for 6 years. 1. Drink anywhere, but nuisance nowhere. 2. Non-Japanese are representatives of all foreigners. 1. Logan Paul destroys the work of 1,000. Matthew Chazik's 3. Police make people disappear for weeks at a time. 99 conviction rate. Don't be a criminal. For arigato gozaimasu. And Sumimasen 5. Just because the women beautiful doesn't mean you can hit on them at their date, job, train, commute, standard public scenario. Too many people come here, get trashed, and ask me flirting dialogue only. Leave your hormones with customs. And 6. Speak Japanese like you're genuinely interested in communicating. Grammar and vocabulary mistakes are only held against legit business and residents of Japan. They appreciate a tourist with more than a smattering. With these in mind, you'll have a rewarding experience. Enjoy the country. Story 22, lived in Japan for a total of 15 months over the period 2012 to 2014. A lot of what ID suggests have been covered, but one thing that isn't mentioned, learn katakana. Japan has 3 alphabets. 1 logographic alphabet kanji, 2 phonetic alphabets hiragana and katakana. Kanji is the traditional Chinese characters and represents 90 of the written Japanese language. You aren't going to learn those in a reasonable time frame, so don't bother. Hiragana is used pretty much solely for minor grammar particles, etc., and spelling out kanji for situations where it's not clear, so is fairly useless unless you speak the language. Okay, that's a bit harsh. It's useful in limited cases like recognizing certain train station names, but generally most of those situations you will skip if you're just visiting, or there'll be audio cues, katakana. However, when I lived there, this was very useful. Katakana covers the same sound range as hiragana, and so anything you can write in hiragana can be directly transliterated into katakana without problems. But the Japanese people use it for one thing only, writing foreign words, and things derived from foreign words. That means if you need, say, ibuprofen, it's literally ibuprofen. A convenience store is shortened to konbini. Japan treats B and V as the same, like L and R, or in the modern world, so many things have English or English-derived names. So this was a huge help for me. Bonus ramen is considered foreign, so you'll see that in katakana a lot. Oh, also, if you go to the onsen hot springs baths, remember to bathe before you hop in a bath. Yes, I know that sounds silly, but do it. Traditionally, there will be an entry room with little seats with bucket soap, shampoo, and maybe shower heads nearby to scrub down with. If you don't clean up first, you will be considered a filthy barbarian, more so than usual. Story 23, when going to a restaurant, don't ask for modifications for food. Don't ask, can you make this without, please. Very little vegetarian option, not a faux pas since most sushi places offer salmon now. But salmon sushi is not really authentic, so if you go somewhere super authentic, don't order salmon, as you will embarrass yourself. Get an IC card at any station and use it as a contactless payment method at vending machines, convenience stores, and other major stores, as well as public transport. Best underrated places in Japan, ID say Hokkaido, Okinawa, Nagano, or really anywhere not Tokyo Kanto area or Kyoto, Osaka. These 2 metros are so crowded. Experiment with the toilet buttons to feel refreshed every time nature is calling. Toto toilets are God-sent. People don't speak English well, and if you're foreign looking or speak English, they will have some weird interest on you. Tokyo people speak English somewhat, but still pretty dismal. Buy electronics, go to big shops, and just go for the experience. Go to Yodobashi Camera or Big Camera. Everyone working there is so knowledgeable. Speaking of, get a SIM card from Big Camera if you're visiting. Taxis are very expensive. Take limousine bus from airports for convenient transport. Do go to chain restaurants, as they're really good value and really yummy. Don't tip. They'll think you forgot your change. Source from Tokyo. Story 24, children will stare at you. Not really in cities, but outside cities. I was in Sapporo, and in the city, Noon cared about my boyfriend and I, but when we booked 45 minutes out of the city, We stopped at a convenience store, and there were school-aged children outside, and they could not stop looking at us. It's like they had never seen white people in person before. They even followed us for a bit. It was definitely weird for us, but we didn't mind. Story 25 didn't see this mentioned, but rent a pocket Wi-Fi. It's cheaper than most SIM cards or international data plans, and tends to have amazing coverage. It means that you always have Google Maps Translate available. I constantly use maps while navigating Tokyo. They can also usually be picked up and dropped off at the airport. Story 26 here are some random observations about Japan after 2 weeks. Bicyclists ride on the sidewalks and in crowds at full speed, often swerving last minute to avoid colliding with an old woman, toddler, etc. They often do not use their bell, and to me and my wife seemed like death riders. We were pretty much in constant terror of collision. Nobody walks and eats, and few walk and drink. Good luck finding a trash can for that to-go coffee also, as there are hardly any public trash cans. Strangely enough, there's also hardly any garbage or cigarette butts on the street. There are vending machines all over the place. If you need a drink at any hour, you will not be hard-pressed. Hardly any dogs on the street, but the ones we did see were almost all red poodles. There are a ton of blackout, drunk people, many in business suits who are somehow still polite. They might swerve across the whole sidewalk and stumble into you, but you will still get a sumimasen excuse me. It is perfectly acceptable to fall asleep at the bar, since trains stop around midnight and don't resume until 5 a.m. It is not too unusual to pass a bar late night with all the doors windows open, lights off, and people just passed out in it. The subway is a little less polite. People will straight up push you to cram into a departing train. I have never been more crammed into a subway in my life. Little kids navigate the subways all by themselves. Apparently Japan is safe like that. If you can read a sign, you can go out alone. This makes me realize that some little 6-year-old kid in a school outfit and backpack was navigating the trains better than 2 grown adults. No real fear of stranger danger in this country. Similarly, you can hold a table with a purse or wallet and go to the bathroom or something, no problem. No real crime issues here, which for an American was hard to comprehend. Don't break their rules. They're not into exceptions or haggling on policies. Late checkout is going to cost you some, even if you're only an hour late. Ice-cold air conditioning is non-existent. Buying things is akin to a sacred ritual. You do the dance the right way, never hand the bills over. Put them on a tray, and if you pay too much or something, you gotta look like, come on man, you're screwing this whole thing up. Lots of boring colored clothes, browns, blacks, blues, tans. Lots of long skirts and covered arms. Way more conservative than I anticipated. Hardly any guys wear shorts. Even in warm weather, the toilets are so much better than ours, and are basically considerate little robots that will cover up your noises with a fake flush noise, warm your seat, auto, open the lid when it senses you're near, etc. The huge exception here is when you get a hole in the ground urinal that you were supposed to squat over. No thank you. Kids are well behaved, even in groups, and at that age when kids are normally such dicks, a lot of women and sometimes whole families wear kimonos just around town like it's no big. Teenage girls cosplay in them and take a million posed pics in front of shrines. Cars rarely honk at anything. Even in the middle of Tokyo, the largest city in the world, everyone seems to work their job with pride and with a focus on customer service, from the highest levels down to a clerk at the 7-Eleven. The only exception here was at customs. Japanese breakfast is weird, as in don't even go near it unless you're into gooey fermented beans. Western breakfast is hilarious. Apparently Westerners enjoy potato salad and hot dogs with egg for breakfast. It's kind of okay to yell for your waiter loudly at any time. A lot of stores are uncomfortable with any photos, and they have some aggressive signs saying so. But no one will say a word if you take some anyway. Tattoos are taboo, but are starting to gain traction. I am sensing they don't really understand what rock is about. Most shirts were a mix of Nirvana, smiley logo, rancid spray, paint motif, and Motley Crue stuff. Signs would say things like glamorous rock, kiss my anus, a huge appreciation of American culture, especially with stuff you could find at any truck stop souvenir shop, i.e. baggy cotton Mickey Mouse sweatshirts. We saw so many shops that looked like Claire's circa 1998. There's high-end shopping almost everywhere, like a Hermes at the train station kind of thing. So many unintentionally hilarious bad English phrases on signs and on clothes. One teenage girl had a shirt on that said, young, willing, eager. Japan's napkin game is weak. They use this weird plastic napkin that absorbs nothing. And here I am in a steamy ramen restaurant with a runny nose wondering what the I am supposed to do and why no one else has this problem. Tommy Lee Jones is all over that country. Story 27, I've been working in Japan for well over a year now, and this is the best advice I can give you are, and will always be an outsider. Be ready to be fetishized and infantilized. Don't take insult to this. You're a guest, and be open to that. Respect them, and they will be friendly. Also, 3 weeks of Duolingo would go a long way. Story 28, don't stab your bowl of rice with your chopsticks, as it is believed to summon the dead. Don't blow your nose in public perceived as rude, do however make tons of noise, while slurping noodles completely okay. Story 29, if you see or hear a Japanese person sucking air through their teeth and pursed lips at something you said or did, it's a clear sign of disapproval. Some are quite subtle about it, others not as much. Story 30, my first time visiting Japan in the Navy. My shipmates convinced me that meant both hello and goodbye. I went around saying it to everyone I met. I didn't find out until we were shoving off that does not, in fact, mean either of those things. This was in the 90s, before any teen with a computer could unravel the mysteries of via internet. Story 31, not Japanese. But if you're seeing cultural icons like temples, look up how to act when you arrive. There's the torii gates at all temple grounds. Don't walk through the center. That's where the spirits walk through. Walking through near the sides are okay. Cleanse yourself before entering temple grounds. Learn to use the cup things on a stick you fill with water. Let the cup fill up from the stream of water, pour a bit on each hand, take a small sip from your hand, and spit it out in the trough of the base. Then hold the stick vertically to rinse off the stick, then put the stick back. Now you're all cleansed to enter the temple grounds. Japanese people will admire the fact that a foreigner learned to do it. Many people just walk in. Don't be a stupid gaijin, be a considerate one. Want to pray at a temple, there's a box you throw money into, also usually a rope tied to a bell or similar. Toss a small donation into the box. Ring the bell to get the spirit's attention. Then clap and hold your hands together to pray. When you're done, bow. And you're done. I think that's the process. And probably wrong, though. Lots of temples have cool little things, like Kiyomizu in Kyoto has the love stone, 2 rocks some distance apart. Close your eyes and make it from one to another without opening your eyes. Do it by yourself, and you'll find love by yourself. Someone helps, and you'll probably need help. Just don't give up, or get your partner to help. Girls love this part of the temple. The giant Buddha in Nara has a hole in the base of one of the pillars, meant to be the size of Buddha's nostril. Make it through for good luck. You'll need to be small and thin, though. You can also buy a roof tile and write a prayer on it for 1,000. Get a photo of something slotted people don't even look at. They replace the roof tiles every few years. Don't walk into the central tatami area where the fancy statues are at temples. Monks only. Sometimes you can for prayer, and there will be special shoes, or just don't wear shoes. Ask first, though. Not sure what a temple is for. There's usually guides who speak some English who can tell you, or at least give you a brochure in English. If that fails, Google when you buy charms at a temple. Don't open them. They're meant to be good for a year. Then you return them and get a new one if you can. Don't be too greedy. That's bad luck if you buy a paper fortune and it's a bad one. Usually if you ask someone if it's good and they laugh or frown, it's bad. There will be some rope with a heap of paper tied to it. You roll your bad fortune up and tie it to the rope. Monks will burn them later, taking your bad fortune away. Don't throw it away. If you get a good one, keep it. Some places don't allow photography. There may be signs. You'll know once you take a photo and an angry monk or security guard tells, generally it's okay at the larger temples. Generally, just be respectful, quiet, and try to learn why the temple is there and which spirit it's for. You'll appreciate them all, even the little ones. Japanese people will admire the fact that a foreigner is honestly interested in their culture. Many tourists are there for the selfies. Don't be a stupid gaijin, be a considerate one. Story 32, if you have the good fortune of seeing a geisha in public, don't be annoying about it. If they're not in a hurry, you could politely ask them if you could take a picture, and don't be offended if they decline. I've seen and heard some really cringe things, particularly from Chinese tourists, like people chasing or rough-handling geisha, just trying to go to the store. Story 33, Japanese people don't care about foreign tourists acting like foreign tourists. Just be polite and considerate the same as you would anywhere else. Obviously, the be polite and considerate excludes a large swath of Chinese tourists. They need to get back to China. Story 34, 3 phrases in Japanese seriously got me through all of Japan. Sumimasen, excuse me, sumimasen. Just use this all the time. Need to ask someone for directions. Open up a sumimasen. Need to get a waitress at a place without a buzzer. Call out sumimasen at a proper volume. Don't be in though. Anytime you need to get someone's attention, you guessed it, a little partial bow of I'm sorry, interrupting you politeness goes a long way. 2. Igo no menu wa aramasuka. Do you have an English menu? Ego no menu wa aramasuka. Every place we went either had an English menu or a picture menu, and it is a lifesaver. Kore, this thing here. Kore. Point to something on a menu if you can't pronounce it, or if it's a picture menu, or if you need help with something, or trying to indicate which thing you want on a shelf, etc. Some other things. Huge, 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 H-U-G. You can download Google Translate and Google Maps for Japanese Japan ahead of time and have them on your phone. and working even without an internet connection. Maps will neatly include the trains and getting to places and translate. Even has a camera function that lets you hold up your phone to a sign and it will translate on the fly. Saved our asses so many times. Don't bring sunscreen. Buy it there. Why is Japanese sunscreen so much better than ours? I don't even know. It was so light and oil-free. Buy a handkerchief there. Use it to dry your hands. Needed this a bunch. Hand sanitizer had a few places in more rural areas that didn't have soap. If you're at a tourist spot and you see someone trying to take a group shot, come up to them and gesture to their camera, then their group, and basically mime offering to take a picture easily a dozen times. I would help them get their group shot, then hold up my camera and gesture to my friends and I, and we'd get our photo taken in return. Honestly, the biggest thing is don't be afraid. Go out there, wander around, find hole in the walls, and eat there. Have an adventure. Be polite. It gets you everywhere. Story 35 5 Things Not to Expect in Public 1 Trash Cans. There are very little out in public areas. Do what everyone else does and hold on to your trash until you either get home or are lucky enough to stumble across one. Convenies like 7 to 11 or Family Mart are reliable places. 2A place to sit. There aren't many public benches around the city. This is something I noticed when my semi-overweight and out-of-shape parents came out to visit me. They often couldn't walk very far and got frustrated when they struggled to find a place to sit. 3 paper towels in bathrooms. Carry a hand towel around with you. I would guess that about 70 of bathrooms have a hand dryer while 30 have nothing. To add to this, don't expect many napkins in restaurants either. LOL. 4 people to hold the door open for you. This form of courtesy doesn't exist out here. It's a bit startling the first time someone who's directly in front of you lets the door shut in your face. 5 English. This one may seem super obvious, but if it's your first time traveling here or abroad for that matter, it's a good thing to be reminded of. Not everyone speaks English, and not everything is labeled in English. Download Google Translate and get accustomed to it before you come here, so you know how to use all of its functions. Live camera translate, voice translate, written text translate in a pinch. It's a lifesaver. Keep in mind that the further away you get out from a big city, the higher chance you shouldn't expect these things. Story 36 depends on where you're going. I'm from the Tokyo area, so I can't speak to the regional cities. Avoid rush hour trains, and if you do get on trains during rush hour, take off your backpack. Also, forget your sense of personal space. This is a high-density country. If you're not Asian, you'll stand out. Even if you're Asian, you'll still stand out. You may be treated differently. You may get stared at. It's unfortunate, but it's improving. Hapa. So I speak from first-hand experience. I'm assuming you speak English, but so will everyone else. Maybe this isn't an issue. I haven't lived in Japan since the inbound demand spike, so this may have changed, but I feel like foreigners' English speaking is the general perception, as you'll most likely stand out as a tourist. You'll be likely given a free pass, but there are many unspoken manner rules. Some are mentioned like the standing on escalator, etc. In general, be respectful. Eating, drinking on trains is generally frowned upon. Speaking loudly on the train is frowned upon, unless your train is in an emergency. Don't use your phone on the train as a phone, as a smartphone for text and internet games is fine obviously. Don't litter. Unfortunately, things in Japan are ridiculously packaged. It's both a good convenience and bad inefficient thing. They'll give you tiny plastic bags at convenience stores, so just keep one in your purse and collect your garbage in there. ITLL add up, again likely given a free pass, but just know that people in Japan tend to dress more modestly and tattoos just aren't generally accepted. You don't have to conform per se, but that is the environment you'll be going into. It's getting cooler, but regardless of the season, skin exposure for both men and women are less common than in the US. I don't know firsthand, but as you'll likely stand out, you may be targeted by aggressive salespeople. Maybe I'm not sure on this one. Japan is a beautiful country, and I hope to return soon. I'm from the Kanto area as mentioned, but I like the Shikoku Islands as well. The mountains are wonderful. If you're in the Tokyo area, Oyama is quite accessible. Hakone region is also wonderful. It's a different environment, though, but if you don't like there, I don't think you have to stress about fitting in. Be respectful, obviously, but there's not a lot that will happen if you're not within legal bounds. Obviously, have fun. Food is amazing. The convenience is mind-blowing after living too long in the U.S. Bureaucracy can be a nightmare, but I doubt you'll have to deal with that. Story 37 Dial down the volume of your voice to like 40. Also, for God's sake, don't talk on trains, including phone conversations. Don't block doorways and watch where you swing that massive camping backpack of yours. Sort your trash, and don't bring your dirty shoes inside. This is not necessarily Japan-specific, but it's still up near the top of what annoys Japanese people the most. Story 38 Watch out for Nigerian street gangs trying to scam you, and don't bother going to the red light district as a foreigner, because none of the XXX places will let you in. Also be prepared to spend a lot of money. Seriously. Story 39 from this thread, when in doubt, Be super polite to strangers, generally keep to yourself, and don't disturb others' huge littering taboo, saying sumimasen, I'm sorry, excuse me in every sentence. Holy, Japanese and Canadians' long-lost siblings. Story 40, it's pretty hard to find public Wi-Fi. Consider getting pocket Wi-Fi or some other source of connection if you need reliable internet connectivity. Carry cash around. It's not common for people to pay with card. Most convenience stores have international ATMs. Don't be loud on the train or bus. People hate that. If you're sitting in the priority seat area, make sure to stand up and offer your seat to the elderly and disabled. You won't be able to go to most pools or onsen shot springs if you have any tattoos. Small ones can be covered up with a Band-Aid. If you're driving, be careful on the roads. Driver's seat and car lanes are opposite for many countries. The roads are also really narrow, and you'll probably be scared of hitting people in crowded areas. You'll have to honk a lot, because people tend to not stand clear of the road a lot of times. Get an IC card, Suica, Pasmo, Icoca, whatever works unless you want to buy a ticket every time you want to get on a train. Getting a JR Rail Pass only for foreigners is probably worth it if you plan on using the trains often. Don't tip. There's no such thing. In general, be polite. If you feel like you're being too polite, that's probably the right amount. Story 41. There are a lot of weebs in here giving bad advice. They don't care if you rub chopsticks together or eat while walking. It's not that big of a deal. Story 42. If you're a white male who never experienced racism against you, be prepared. At the beginning, it's all nice. Oh, I am so special here with my blue eyes and blonde hair, etc. But later it comes to the point where it's more about I am not one of them. Behave correctly,